Hello, firearms friends. I was walking around our preview hall for our June sporting and collector firearms auction. That's June 22nd, 23rd, 24th, by the way. It's right around the corner. And I was noticing how many cool non-firearms lots there are, whether it's medals from the Spanish-American War, whether it's Custer memorabilia, whether it's daggers and bayonets, whether it's a mannequin of a horse set up with the kit of World War I, American kit from World War I. Some of the items in this room are just absolutely fascinating. They have nothing to do with firearms, but my goodness, what an addition to a collection. Like if you have a collection of weapons of World War I from the US military, what a statement piece that horse mannequin is. And I don't get to say the words horse mannequin a lot, so I really hope it's standing out. But one thing that caught my eye, as it usually does, are pieces of propaganda or advertising. Now you can see around me, I'm kind of surrounded by a lot of art pieces, clear example of what's in the sale. There's bronzes, there's art pieces, propaganda, but there's also some really good advertisements. Now this isn't a true advertisement for a gun the way we'd think of it, but it is obviously pretty darn relevant for firearms collectors, especially if you're a collector of Winchesters or specifically the Winchester 73. But what we're going to show you today are some good ads and some ads that could not be made today. And when we go over them, you're going to know why. So let's talk about one of the former before the latter, and one of the neatest, one of the best pieces, I think, of non-firearms items in the auction, besides horse mannequins, of course, is this giant Winchester 1873 poster. And it makes an impression. You walk right in the preview hall, and it's a nearly 6-foot tall poster. Definitely makes an impression. Now, just from the standpoint of old art, movie art, or propaganda art, it's awesome. There's no other way to put it. When you turn around and look at it, classic poses, the sort of Superman type font at the bottom, vibrant colors. There's a lot, you wouldn't maybe expect a lot of pink or magenta in the movie poster for a rough and tumble, Wild West adventure. But when you get up close, you can see, Jimmy Stewart's pants are bright pink with some blue in them. Shelley Winters has some pink in here and a smoking Colt revolver in her hand. There's a lot of pinks, a lot of reds, of course a lot of yellows with our Native American band in the back, and it looks like our heroes are about to get really badly flanked, but let's just attribute it to movie poster art for right now. Absolutely vibrant colors, and you have it set off not only with the golden yellows, but with these striking green kind of accents, whether it's the bulwarks, their hats, Jimmy Stewart's jacket. It's really it's objectively a beautiful painting, and for all those colors to remain so vibrant, so bright after so long is really phenomenal to see it in this kind of condition. Now, extra cool points for this Winchester 73 photo. It's from Universal Film SA, which we're looking around, well, what is that? Oh, Universal International. This movie poster is in French. So you see all the actors' names, of course, as they would appear in English, but you say dans, like underneath, so it's all these people in Winchester 73. And then, your sub-actors on the bottom are with so-and-so, but it's not with, it's avec, Millard Mitchell and Charles Drake and all these other actors. So not just a Winchester 73 poster with great color and really cool artwork, and it's larger than life. It's also in French. Who'd have thought? What a cool piece. Now, let's hop over to some of the pieces that you just couldn't make anymore. Now, I'm aware that when we start talking about advertisements, posters, art, some of the stuff of yesteryear, and we say you can't make it like you used to, can't make it like that anymore, people are going to fall necessarily in one or two camps. Now, I'm not here to debate one way or the other, but some people tend to think it's good. Maybe it perpetuates a negative stereotype, you shouldn't make it like that anymore. Or it perpetuates like a true historical falsehood. And I say that as I'm looking at several depictions of Custer's last fight. And there's some pretty fanciful depictions. Some people would rather deal away with those and only deal with objective history, and that's fine. And some people, when you say you can't make them like you used to, we think that's bad. Because a lot of times you can lose some historical nuance or maybe even some historical information at the expense of being overly sensitive, some people feel. So we're not here to debate one way or the other. We're just going to say you can't make the following Winchester ads like you used to. Starting to my left, your right, we have a series of 3 ads, the first of a series of 3 ads for the new Winchester bolt action 22s. You have a young white boy talking to a young Native American boy, and both seem to be in full dress, and says, "So much fun for so little wampum." I don't think we need to go into a whole lot of why you wouldn't be able to make an ad like that today, but I certainly appreciate it as a symbol of its time. And here, back on the left, you of course have the concerned gaze of a Native American father at this interaction. I'll leave the interpretations up to you. Next, down here, Winchester 22s, the second of this three-parter. Scout out Winchester 22s, and we appear to have a Native American perhaps performing duties as scouts aboard his horse. It's a Model 290 Automatic Deluxe. It's interesting, I think. First of all, both of these have been like in great color, a lot like our Winchester 73. Corners look great. The colors, there's some slight folding here. This thing just looks great on every possible way. But they're advertising Winchester 22s, not just the bolt actions, but the bolt actions, the slides, the levers, the automatics. And we have our Native American holding, of course, the Model 290 Automatic Deluxe, which is kind of a neat way to tie in like a new cutting line product with the old school, like the Cowboys and Indians images that the Winchester company is famous for, and the prairie and the Old West. So here you are tying that into your new product line. It's a clever bit of advertising. Now, personally, I think this ad by Winchester avoids a lot of the pitfalls that you find when Native Americans have been portrayed in advertising, especially if you've ever seen old Red Ryder BB gun ads. That is what we would say a depiction that's pretty outdated today. But this one was rather ambiguous between, is it perpetuating a stereotype? Is it showing history? I mean, whichever side of that argument you tend to fall on is probably where you'll find this advertisement, where now it looks like a Native American man riding a horse with a semi-automatic 22. And it's absent from a lot of the pitfalls that you would see in other ads of the time. For the third and final of these Winchester 22 posters is probably my favorite of the three. And this is a whole new tribe of Winchester bolt-action 22s. The not-so-subtle pun. This is, of course, more than just the slides or the semi-autos. This is strictly their bolt actions. You have Model 131, 135, 121, 141, and 145 all in a row. Now, the first thing that's going to get people mad about this posters, and it might be my favorite, is that Winchester has their Model 131 with, you'll notice, a magazine at the bottom. They call it a Model 131 clip magazine standard. Oh, Internet. Get ready. Model 135, also a clip magazine, single shot, tube magazine. Just to see clip magazine on period advertising from the firearms manufacturers, perhaps we should all deal with people who call magazines clips today with a little more grace. It's just what they were raised knowing. Let's move on to our Native American friends up here. All in fine dress, of course. And again, if you know whether or not these are authentic, it would probably influence whether you're viewing this as stereotypical and just like cashing in on a stereotype to sell your brand, or whether it's preserving a bit of authentic American history. I don't have that knowledge, so we're just going to treat it as it is. We have some gentlemen in some dress here. The fine chief in the middle with a fine feather headdress. This gentleman over here, he's dressed rather nicely too. It's with these three young men who are on here, and this is advertising aside, they don't look thrilled to be there. Perhaps they're younger. Perhaps this is their first time in such an advertisement, and they don't feel so great about selling out. But you look at the faces of some of these young men, and they look truly miserable. And why that slipped through and made it into an ad, I'm not sure. Like, you would want them either looking maybe happy to hold your product or stoic in that stereotypical, Native American, somber, men of the prairie sort of thing. These gents look absolutely miserable. This one still has a wedding ring on and a bit of a tan line from his wristwatch. He's also has a cloth which depicts a large moth or butterfly in stones. This one is a much prettier pink butterfly, so I can understand his misery a little bit. They absolutely look like they don't want to be there. How that would make it into an advertisement today, it just wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. So here we have the tribe of Winchester bolt action 22s, and it's a fantastic ad. Let's move to the last ad right behind me. probably the one least likely to make it today. Of course, you see somebody has secured it, thankfully. It's a cardboard cutout. They've secured it to this piece of pegboard to keep it rigid and preserve it. And then there's even plexiglass, so it's kind of sandwiched in between. So thanks to whoever preserved that. It just starts off heap big savings. 50%, 70% off Winchester Extra Barrels. Now, Winchester, I highly encourage you to run that sale again today. I promise you I would partake. So maybe not ads like this, but definitely sales like this. Like, let's see that. Winchester Extra Barrels. These are for the model 1200 or 1400 shotgun. Offer expires July 31st, 1967. So unlike some of the other ads that we've looked at, we don't necessarily have to wonder about a date on this one. But down at the bottom, we dive into some of this Native American dialect that was popular in TV shows and advertisements. Ugh, hunt 'em all, waterfowl, upland game, deer, shoot 'em, trap and skeet. Much like the first one, don't think we need to go into a whole lot of why you would not see an ad like this surviving today. But it's neat to see them and how far advertising has come and depictions have come and how far companies have come and how they choose to advertise these firearms to us. Let's do one more that's not Winchester as a bit of a bonus round. So for our bonus round, we have here an old advertisement from L.C. Smith, classic American shotgun manufacturers L.C. Smith. And at first glance, it might not look like an advertisement for shotguns, and I tend to agree with you. But let's take a closer look. Here at the bottom, ain't she a beauty? L.C. Smith Company, Fulton, New York, shotguns. And we have a young, attractive young woman, and she appears to have hunted some grouse, and oh, there is a shotgun in the photo after all, and she has a belt full of shells on there. So the good news is there is a shotgun in there. That's what they're selling, proving once again that the use of attractive young women is certainly not a new idea when it comes to selling any product, let alone firearms. Well, firearms friends, I was not lying when I said that there is a fantastic selection of art and non-firearms items in our June 22nd, 23rd, 24th sporting and collector firearms auction. If you have an empty spot in your gunroom wall and you like Winchester 73 or you like Buffalo Bill and Buffalo Bill's Wild West, it's definitely an auction you owe it to yourself to check out. At rockislandauction.com, you can search for all the non-firearms items and take a look, find something to hang on your wall. Thanks for watching, everybody. Till next time, keep that powder dry.